Good afternoon. I'm now going to call the Wednesday, January 24th, 2024 meeting of the Norfolk County Commission to order. On Wednesday, March 29th, 2023, Governor Healy signed into law Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, an act making appropriations for fiscal year 2023, which includes a 2-year extension of the option for public bodies to hold remote meetings by suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. That action was effective immediately, extending the current option for remote meetings through March 31st, 2025. Thank you. I'm going to ask if you can stand and join me in saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Call to order, roll call. Commissioner Stady.
I am here remote. I am here, sir.
Commissioner Collins.
Present.
And Commissioner Shea is present.
Richard, quick question, if I may.
You have permission to use my signature? Anything that requires signature today?
That's the
Thank you.
question.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Number 3, no executive session today. Number 4, minutes of the open session meeting of January 10th, 2024 for approval.
I'll move approval of the minutes of January 10 as presented.
Second.
Number 5, minutes of the open.
Wait, all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It is a vote. I'm sorry. Number 5, minutes of the open session meeting of January 17th, 2024 for approval.
Mr. Chairman, one change, I know Mr. Collins wasn't present, but just one change. When I was talking about the trial balance, maybe the intent came across the wrong way. On the last page, which was Commissioner Stady said ARPA should be removed. I didn't want it removed. I wanted segregated it. In other words, I wanted a separate balance that shows what's our balance, and then if you take ARPA out, what's the balance? I didn't want it removed. So if there's some way to edit that or fix it, or we can vote it with the sense of understanding that that could be fixed up, that'd be fine with me.
Well, I understand it the same way you just explained it. So why don't we amend the minutes and then we'll accept them as amended.
Sounds good. I would want that amended then. I didn't want it totally removed. I don't want to do that. I just wanted
No,
it
I
segregated.
understand.
All
I
right.
understand.
Okay, fine. So postpone minutes
No,
of
you
17th.
You can make the motion to approve as amended.
Well,
You can do that.
well, Joe, I thought Joe said, Mr. Chairman was saying, let's do it next time.
Want to do it next week?
No,
No, just move it as amended.
I think we can accept it today as amended.
That's fine. Okay.
Remember what you did.
So moved. All right, I'll move to approve January 17 with that amendment as discussed concerning the trial balance presentation.
And I'll second it. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain because I wasn't here for that meeting.
Correct. 2-0. Thank you.
Got it. So good. Thank you.
All right, number 6, minutes of the executive session minute of January 10th for approval and do not release at this time.
I'll make that
Those
motion.
look fine. I'll move
Yeah.
approval.
And not to be released at this time, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yep. Agreed.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
3-0, not to be released. Minutes, executive session minutes of January 17th for approval. 2-0.
I'll move approval. Those are fine.
And
As
I'll
presented, but
second. All
not
in
to be
favor?
released.
Not to be released. All in favor?
Aye.
That's 2-0.
2-0, and I abstain because I wasn't here.
Right. Number 8, appointments, we have none. Number 9, public comment. Each week we have public comment as an agenda item. People can reserve time or they can call in on the Zoom. So this, I'm going to open up the public comment. I did have a call from the department head who is now here. And we're going to invite him up.
Great, thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Register of Deeds bill open.
Thank you.
Mr. Register.
Greetings, everybody. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year. Just dropping something off. It's a personnel paper to when it's appropriate to discuss at some point. I know you have a freeze and, we started. Commissioner Stady, I'll leave this here.
Right. Thanks, Billy. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And so at some point, just like to talk about it as part of the process of getting this person onboarded at some point. with everything going on. We started the process before the freeze, but we delayed it, but just putting it to you. So when the time comes, we can talk about it. That'd be great.
Okay,
All right.
thanks.
Okay.
Okay, thank you,
Thanks, Billy. Thank you.
Thanks.
Commissioners. Any questions about,
Any other public comment?
anyone out in Zoom land that has any public comment?
I just had a question, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
It's just a probably parliamentary procedure, but the register brought something over about personnel. Am I right? Right?
Yeah, yes,
And on our agenda, we have personnel. So shouldn't that have been under that, on part of the agenda? I'm not trying to split hairs. I'm just
it's
curious.
correct.
I don't,
Usually it would come through the system and we had two minor items today, an address change
Yeah, I
and
understand
something
that.
else at the school. Yes, the answer is yes.
We were
Okay.
not previously alerted of the content to post on your agenda by last Friday at 1 o'clock, so it'll be under consideration for a future agenda.
Right, I'm just saying, I don't think I would have put them under public comment. I would have put them under personnel, taken it like Peter did, said, thank you, we can't act on it, and that's it. But it's under personnel, isn't it? That's what he's doing, right? He brought you a blue paper or something?
well, he dropped some, he
We don't know. what it
dropped
is.
something off. I haven't opened it yet.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm splitting hairs, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, we can't act it anyway, we can't. It's not on the agenda, correct?
All right, I'd like to take a motion to take this under advisement.
I'll
Okay,
make the motion. Take it under advisement.
Motion seconded,
second, yes, sir.
all in favor?
All right,
Send this to personnel.
Good.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Last call for open session, last call for public comment. Next, old business, I have none. Personnel matters for consideration, we have at the agricultural school, Commissioner Collins.
I can do those, Peter, if you want.
All right,
Yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, I have those if you want. But the Norfolk County Agricultural High School, Mr. Chairman, through you, I move approval of the following. Notice of address change for Nicole Forsythe of Bellingham, Mass. As a 183-day instructor at the rate stated, effective date 1/17/24. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
And the
Next.
other one is notice of contingent employment for John O'Keefe of Walpole, Mass. As a substitute instructor at the rate stated, effective date 1/25/24. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye. That is all I have, Mr. Chairman. I do not have payroll expense, so Peter, I defer to you.
Yeah, I have that.
Total expense warrants for approval, Commissioner Collins.
Okay, warrant list for today. The first item is 24-29 payroll of the county in the amount of $148,206.66. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Next.
The second item is 24-29, open parentheses, 15, close parentheses, payroll of the school, in the amount of $367,888.15. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? It
Aye.
is a vote. Next.
The last item is 1/4/24 expense of the county in the amount of $671,426.32. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It is a vote. Thank you. Number 13, report on American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Director Cronin.
Thank you, Commissioner Shea. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I would ask Bill Buckney if he can to pull up the PowerPoint/slide deck that I presented to the Norfolk County communities on Monday afternoon. While we wait for Bill to do that, the Commissioners should be aware, as we previously discussed, we took the opportunity to meet with over 50 members of the ARPA team throughout Norfolk County. That's town managers, town administrators, finance directors, et cetera, to give them an update, not just on where the county stands and the background of our success to date, but also about the closeout plan going forward. The slide deck started with a brief description of the background, which is on slide 3, Bill, if you want to jump ahead. I alerted the team that it was in August 2021 that commissioners announced the program detailing the ways we were going to manage $137 million ARPA grant. And that further, the commissioners set forth goals, and you can see all of them are checked. I believe we've achieved all of them, including putting the communities first, which you did by handing out money to virtually every community before the county took access to its portion of the grant. We provided a user-friendly portal to receive applications and turn around approvals and denials expediently. We fortified the process with programmatic and legal compliance. We handled all the U.S. Treasury reporting and compliance responsibilities for the cities and towns. That is an item that should not be understated. It is a tremendous lift to have that done quarterly and annually. We provided all funding to the Norfolk cities and towns based on the 2019 census, which has proved to be the same method the other counties did. It brings forth equity and fairness to the distribution of these funds. And then finally, be a source of support and assistance to the cities and towns throughout the process. Myself and my staff have all made it our point to recognize that the cities and towns are your customers and our customers. We want them to be fully comfortable asking us questions and problem solving to their benefit at every turn, and I believe we've achieved that. Slide 4 shows the current grant status to date. This is as of 12/31/23. You have approved 159 grants totaling just over $96 million. And it's a brief snapshot from the original total grant of $137.3 million, less the 3% set aside for administration and project costs in Norfolk County. The real amount that was distributed to the cities and towns was $133,164,275. As I mentioned, we've awarded 96.5 to date. So you have approximately $36.7 million left to distribute. And it's the time to ask our communities to start planning about how that's going to look. Page 5 will show, or slide 5 will show that, as the metrics has from the very beginning, most of the dollars and awards have gone towards infrastructure across Norfolk County. In fact, by large, more than half, followed by supporting public health and economic impact, respectively. Slide 6 begins the closeout plan that we articulated to our partners on Monday. Our main goal, as stated, is not to give back any funds to the U.S. Treasury. We want the communities to use what is allocated. We wish to work with them to optimize this allocation. All the original grant agreements associated with this program expired June 30th. And that date was deliberately chosen to allow the county to assess the overall grant's position, or the position overall, I should say, of the grant prior to the December 31st deadline. To achieve this goal, communities are directed to provide us a written plan by March 1st on how they plan to utilize the remaining allotment funds. This was the major portion of the presentation. We wanted them to understand what we were looking for. By July 1st, the county intends to reissue or extend the grant agreement to those communities that have satisfactorily given us these plans that affirm that they will obligate their funds before the end of the year. Slide 7, Bill. We have 2 different types of funding that is packed into that $96 million. Approximately 1/3 is in a category called reimbursement. That is, the communities apply for money as a reimbursement for an expense in an eligible category. We like those. They're easy for the most part. The other category is called advance. In this case, communities have ideas of what they want to put their funds towards, and they've given us a plan to do it, town meeting vote, bonding authority, what have you, and then we advance the funds according to that request. With 2/3 of the money, the $96 million assigned to advance, that's the category that keeps me awake at night, because we don't fully have a grasp on the communities, all communities' commitment to obligate or encumber and spend those funds before December 31st. One of those things that we want from the communities is a real and demonstrable explanation for funding these items beyond June 30th. Once that plan is in effect, we'll extend the contract. There are 2 things that we ask communities to do, and a lot of them have been asking about this. If a community envisions changes to an existing award, we encourage these requests to be made within the plan so we can act without delay. And if communities have any surplus left over from previous awards, send it back to us and we'll reissue it under their allotment. this is the time to do it. So for example, if Milton had a plan for $100,000 and the plan is done, I should say the project, and it costs $90,000, send the $10,000 back to us. And that 10,000 will be part of your remaining allotment that needs to be distributed. So now's the time to do that. Don't sit on any surpluses. Bill, if you go to slide 8, we plan to require a final update from communities on these plans by September 30th, 2024. The commissioner should know that the other counties are planning something similar. Many of them are looking at the September 30th deadline also. I believe Plymouth has a slightly different approach, but not terribly different. The whole point is that by that date, we literally have about 2 months to 3 months to go to troubleshoot and handle any last minute obligation issues, whether that's redistribution of funds or taking funds back and spending them on projects that are shovel ready, if you will. That date will be very, very important. We encourage the communities that have reached their allotment but have additional eligible project requests to enter those applications now. So Quincy's done. We actually have about 9 communities that have reached their allotment. Whatever your status is, send in an application in the portal now as excess allotment. It's going to stay there until we determine that we have additional resources that may go towards them. Depends how much is left over. We really don't have an idea how much money will be left over once we assess all of the community's financial status. That's something we'll learn probably closer to June or July. Question came up during the Zoom from a couple of different town managers. How will that money be handled? And I said, well, if it's $1 million or less, it's not practical to take that value and distribute it to 28 cities and towns based on population. Some communities will get $100. It's not worth it. It may make more sense to look at that value and assess whether or not it can be handled in a more prioritized way according to the Norfolk County Commissioner's wishes. But we will assess that, I told them, when we see what those values look like, probably around June, July. But meanwhile, we told them to start putting their applications in the portal. And we prefer those reimbursement grants first. Slide 9, Bill. Community plans are critical to the successful closure of the ARPA grant. Our team will work to ensure all communities have new or extended grant agreements by July 1st. We anticipate all community Zoom in late 2024 to give them updates on the closeout and cast a view into the important monitoring phase, which I haven't given the commissioners too much of a look at yet, but the last 2 years of this grant, although we won't be handing out a lot of money, will be administratively burdensome. There's an awful lot of work that'll be involved with making sure that the communities and their plans and their obligated funds are being spent according to what you approved. That monitoring is a very intensive auditing phase. You'll learn more about that towards the end of the year, likely in November, as we approach the end of the obligation period. Slide 10 was an attempt to just revisit the important timelines I just iterated that were in the memo I sent out. So you can see we've already achieved the send out of the memo. March 1st, we expect the plans from the communities. May 1st, we're going to look at all projected reversions due to the county treasury. And then by July 1st, start reissuing extended grants. And then finally in September, the closeout project update from all the communities. During this, thank you, Bill, that concludes the presentation. During the Zoom on Monday afternoon, as I mentioned, we had quite a strong representation of every community. There were half a dozen or so questions. I received 3 calls afterwards complimenting the county on the way we've run the program to date. Everyone's pretty comfortable. There is a strong interest from many communities, more than a few, in additional funds. So that's a good sign that they like what we're doing and they're hungry for more, and that's not a bad thing. We'll have to assess that when the time comes. But the next waypoint will be March 1st. I'll give the commissioners an update on how those plans are looking. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions of Director Cronin relative to further opera awarding, et cetera, and how we're going to handle it?
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Stady.
Yes, sir. If I may, real quick, this past weekend, Chairman Shea and myself and Bill Buckley had the pleasure of attending the MMA conference in town. And I will say it felt very, very encouraging as I ran into different local officials, and that included not just members of select board, but town administrators, town accountants were there, finance people, and so on. And 201 all had such good comments about the opera program and the way it's being handled and the way it's being administered and the cooperation they're getting from John Cronin and Bill Buckley and us as a group. So it speaks well for the county collectively. It really does.
Yes.
That's a very good thing. I want you to know that. The second thing, though, John, a quick question through the chair, of course, through you, Mr. Chairman. I thought a deadline we had talked about was June 30. I had in my mind on my notes something about June 30 was an end date, and now I see September. Was there a change of heart, or am I getting some dates mixed up?
Bill,
With
if
the
you
chair.
just kind of to pull up that last slide.
I had something. No, I kept thinking the deadline was June 30 cutoff
It
date. Now
is.
I see September.
June 30th is the deadline for the grants, Commissioner Stady, and that's noted in the memo.
Okay.
The grant agreement was signed by every community to receive the funds. And what it does is it provides the county with the ability to stream back, once the plans are accepted, an extension of that June 30th deadline. I believe it's further,
I don't see it. I was looking for the June 30 magic deadline. I didn't see it in there.
Yep.
Could be an oversight. I don't know. I remember you telling us about June 30 being an important date.
slide number 7.
Slide 7.
Slide 6. Go to slide 6 first, Bill.
Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, great. There we
And
go.
then
Okay.
furthermore, in slide 7, we're letting the communities know that they need to provide a real and demonstrable deadlines for funding approval beyond the June 30th contractual deadline that details the disposition of the fund.
So they have to provide by June 30 of this year. This is 2024. Hard to believe, but by June 30, the communities have to demonstrate the funding, all everything's in place, and the thing is underway. Correct, more or less.
More or less, yes. We'd expect that plan on March 1st. And
Okay.
between March 1st and June 30th, our team's going to be working with the communities to assess and revise their plan and then reissue new contracts effective July 1st.
Okay, and then between July 1st and say December 30, I'm just saying, that window of 6 months, if a community, let's say it's Canton, Quincy, Milton, Stoughton, whoever, has some money left over, provided the project's going forward, they don't have to give that money back, correct?
Correct, because they need to affirm to us that their plan to expend any money is real and it will be obligated before the end of December.
All right.
Obligated, meaning encumbered, that they've got a contract, an agreement, or plans to expend those funds. Yes.
So say a project happens to another town and they had something they thought they wanted to get. And again, Joe and I and Bill, we saw lots of different people with lots of different ideas. Let's say this that way. We want to build a sidewalk, or we've got this downtown project we want to do. If they don't get it in, and then that project, they would have had money coming to them, but they don't get it in, they lose out. That money then goes back to the county?
Potentially, yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm good.
And realistically, I don't expect that to happen, Commissioner.
Right.
What the last 2.5 years have given us, the county, is the benefit of establishing really good working relationships with every single town. The representation of over 4 dozen members on Monday's call is a good sign that they are locked into working with us. So I suspect that if any community has any quote leftover money that they couldn't spend, that'll be a surprise to many, because we're going to be talking about every pot of money, every opportunity to obligate and move it into qualified categories. Our goal is simple. We don't want the communities and the county to send back a red penny. The period of time, Commissioner Stady, between December 31st, 2024 and December 31st, 2026 is when a lot of those obligated funds can be spent. Unfortunately, after 2024, we can't change what those funds were approved for. So we have to do a lot of solid planning to make sure that the communities are laying out the monies properly for those obligations. For using your example, if a
No, no,
community.
wait. Yeah, I misunderstood. I didn't mean to say it comes back to us and then it's our money. I meant to be then reallocated, as we've talked about. We've talked
We
about
can-
reallocation,
Yes,
redistribution. Like you say, one town already gave back money, which I was Rentham, I think it was, which is great. So that money can be reallocated. That's all I meant. I know,
Yes,
we're not gonna, we
that's right.
definitely don't want to, if we can, turn back to the federal government any money. At that place, critically now, we want to use it.
No, that's correct. The money can be reallocated until December 31st when it has to be
Right.
obligated. But I just wanted to point out that following the 2024 deadline, we cannot alter or change any award. So if a community got $1 million for a sidewalk, Commissioner Stady, and it turned out to be 1.1 million, my hope is that the community can find the additional $100,000 to complete that project. That's the only way it can go. We cannot change it. It's locked in, and they have 2 years to spend it against those approvals. So that's why this planning process is critical. Critical.
Right.
It's going to be quite intensive over the next 8 to 10 months, and then certainly the monitoring period. A whole new emphasis will be placed on following through on those commitments. Good
Well,
question.
again, I give you credit. I know you had a good turnout. That's a lot of people on that call. Would you say 50? And I'm not
Oh.
surprised. As I said, the people I interacted with, and there were many, all knew about it. I had told them they knew about the meeting. They were excited about it, and there's a lot of good vibes from that process. So it's going well. But thank you. I won't take any more time. Thank you.
Thank you. Under number 14, opera warrants for approval. I know we don't have any, but
You have one award that is ready for my review from the town of Franklin. I have not acted upon it. I'm looking to bundle that with the town of Brookline, which I believe you've been alerted is at level 2, and should be ready for my review shortly. So my goal is to have both of them perhaps before you as early as next week.
Okay.
Franklin and Brookline.
okay.
That Franklin Award, Mr. Chairman, I think
Yes.
finishes Franklin. In fact, I saw, you might have seen him, the town manager was there, who's been very, very grateful for the assistance we have given the town of Franklin. And they mentioned that they'd be open to some kind of a ceremony at some point as well, because I think this wraps up Franklin. This is it. So,
Maybe they're waiting for this last piece. I don't know.
yeah.
Okay, this concludes opera discussions for today. Number 15, in your packet, vote on state letter of agreement. Vote on side letter of agreement between the Norfolk County Commissioners and AFSCME Council 93, Local 2417 regarding IT policy. Director Cron.
Thank you, Commissioner. As the commissioners may know, in August of 2023, you endorsed the county first IT policy as drafted by our CIO, Sam Evans. That policy was applicable to non-union staff immediately. Shortly thereafter, we engaged AFSCME in a series of impact bargaining to discuss some concerns and some areas of clarification that they wanted to be made. This brief side letter of agreement memorializes that. It was endorsed on January 12th by me as your agent. It's required, however, the commissioners are asked today to vote an endorsement of this signed agreement effective January 12th, 2024.
Any questions or comments?
You meant 2024, right? Could say 2022?
2024.
Okay. Need a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Motion to approve
We need
the,
to endorse all this. And
It's a motion to allow the county director to sign on behalf of the commissioners, Richard.
I've
you
already
make
signed.
it.
You're
Be my guest.
adopting
You do it. That's fine.
the agreement.
All right, so I'll make a motion to allow the county director to sign on behalf of the county commissioners on the side agreement between the county commissioners and AFSCME Local 93, Local 2417 regarding the IT policy.
okay,
I'll second that. That's fine.
you
Yep.
second. Okay, motion made and second. Discussion. Director Cron.
Upon the motion, you had already approved me to negotiate on your behalf. So my signature was already applied on January 12th. Respectfully, I'd ask the motion to be revised to reflect approval of said agreement as presented.
So
Okay.
we're gonna sign.
No, he signed.
Okay,
So,
just gonna approve.
so I'll revise my
Okay,
motion.
go ahead. I think it's in order.
I'll revise my motion, to confirm the county director had authority from the county commissioners to sign the side agreement between the commissioners and ASME on January 12th, 2024 regarding the IT policy.
I'll second that.
Last chance. Any more comment on this? Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It is a vote. Thank you. 3-0 to endorse. All right.
16.
Bid openings, number 16, bid openings, we have none scheduled for 1:30. Number 17, contract awards. We have none at this time. Number 18, December trial balances for acceptance. In your packet again is the December trial balances prepared by the treasurer's office, showed to Aurea and forwarded to us. We had one and two questions last week, so that's why we're revisiting this week. So any questions? Trial balances, oh, I'm sorry, last week's was 11/30 first. Okay, this is the new December trial balance,
Right, this December,
12/31, I'm sorry.
right.
New to our eyes, thank you.
Again, I just want to, my point was just that if we could have some kind of and Peter wasn't here to hear it, but it would help to evaluate if you had a couple of months, like the prior month, to track it a little bit. And again, my only suggestion was you could take the opera off that, might have two balances, total balance, maybe net balance, because the opera inflates it a little bit. Like as John said, we've got about what, 36 million? John, did you say earlier? About,
did. Yep.
so, I mean, really, we're seeing a balance of what, 70 or something? If you take 30 from 70, our real balance, in my mind, is like 40, but 6 to 1, half another. I can approve, I can approve it. Trial balance of 12/31/23 as presented.
Second motion.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It is accepted, thank you. 3-0. Here we go. Number 19, report of the county director.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Few items. This Friday, our Human Resources Director and her staff will be conducting a stakeholders training / workshop relative to the new revised Norfolk County Employee Handbook. As the commissioners know, this handbook included a hiring process that we believe evolves the process of hiring to a level that requires new requisition and other changes. These details will be offered to the stakeholders that are detailed in the policy Friday for question and answer, get a greater understanding of how to prepare these papers. As the commissioners know, we're in a hiring freeze right now. There's not a lot of activity relative to this, so it seems the right time to approach these department resources and explain the details to them. So I've gone through Michelle's PowerPoint. It's well done. I think the employees will find it very helpful to see and understand. There are some new things that we're asking for in the interest of transparency. Hopefully there'll be full participation and an understanding of what to expect when hiring resumes, hopefully soon. Next item, the FY25 budget, as you know, is underway. The county departments are busy putting their numbers into the system. They're due on February 7th. We have had a couple of different calls with Matt Abrahams from the Abrahams Group about changing the layout and content of the FY25 budget appearance. We're looking to condense line items and remove redundant information. I believe the budget is somewhere around 60 pages. We're looking to make it more reader-friendly and approachable for staff. Matt's work culminated in a draft view that he sent to me yesterday. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but suffice to say, these modest improvements will have a big impact, I believe, on how the county's budget is shown to all interested parties going forward. Commission should be advised, Mr. Buckley and I have our next scheduled monthly meeting with John Martin, the superintendent of the agricultural school, on Monday. That'll be via Zoom. The human resources specialist has scheduled all department head performance evaluations with me over the next month or so. Through this process, we also direct that department heads perform performance evaluations for their subordinate staff as well. You get copies of those into HR without delay. Finally, I wanted to thank Maureen Lyden and Nancy Rockwell for their help securing and now distributing the latest batch of COVID test kits. It's the same program the county has embarked on for the last 2 years. These test kits include 2 different test kits, or tests, I should say. They include an expiration date of 11/27/24. The memo includes a hyperlink for employees to follow in the event that that date approaches. The hyperlink directs employees of how to follow the actual expiration. As we now know, several of these kits have a published expiration, but the CDC has directed that they are effective for several months after that. Those deadlines are available on the hyperlink in the memo as well. Those kits have gone out, they're going out as we speak. I know we're hitting at a time when COVID unfortunately is starting to spike again in our midst. So as a resource to our fellow employees, we wish them well. And if they have any need for additional kits, please let us know. That's all I have at this time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any further questions or comments? We have none under number 20, emergency topics that the chair did not reasonably anticipate would be discussed.
Mr. Chairman, I did forget, again, the sheriff's office, we ran into them, I think, that
Right.
over the weekend. They were looking to come in maybe sometime in February. If I could get a couple of dates, I can talk to Mr. Cronin about and set that up.
Okay, we're on top of that. We discussed that this morning, so thank you.
When do we start the budget? Forgive me, when's the budget hearing begin for us? Budget cycle? First
The
group.
budgets are due February 7th.
Yeah,
Then we'll close the public budget after that. I don't know off the top of my the first meeting of the commissioners, I believe it's late February.
okay, so if we had the sheriff, I'm just saying top of my head, if we had the sheriff come in, maybe that first or second week of February, would that be acceptable, you think?
That's what I was thinking. I was going to confirm that and send you an email.
Okay, that's fine, all right. As long as the chair's okay, I can,
Yep, okay.
Now, Commissioner, you have a scheduled time out of state, correct?
not so much,
March, okay, thank you.
much, right. Nope. All set. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Phil Iantosca just texted me, February 21st is the first budget date.
Oh, good, thank you. Okay. Oh, so if we could see if for the first or second Wednesday, let's, I can confirm with them and let you know.
Thank you.
Depends on his schedule too.
Okay, I'll have a motion to adjourn if so be it.
Right, I move to adjourn at 1:40 PM.
Second.
I believe.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. We have a regular meeting next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
You.
Good to see you all.